apologize that many of you are standing. I'm overwhelmed. My family is overwhelmed. We loved our daughter, Keith and I, and siblings all loved her very much. But when you see this kind of a turnout, it does something incredible to you. I'd just like to know how many people here went to school with Jocelyn. Could you raise your hand? How many of you have been friends with her from grade school? How many of you work with her? Thank you. Wow. You know, they say that it takes a tribe to raise a child. I see people in here that I haven't seen forever. When you walk up to me, I look at you and I go, that name just pops in. I had no idea some of you would be here, and I'm so glad to see you. I have a lot of family here. Cashmans, Mackeys, Ells. Yeah, oh my gosh. Taylors. Oh, my daughter would have loved this. She wouldn't want anybody crying or being sad anymore about her. She was taken really fast, and that is stumbling a lot of people, especially those of us that talked to her that morning. Sometimes that's good, better than a lingering illness. But 46 is very young. She has family, all the Amirault children, Kaylin, and Aiden, and Grayson. Could you stand just a moment, please? I don't know that everybody knows you. This is Kaylin, and Aiden, and Grayson Amirault. And for them, they're reeling. As typical, when you have big events and everything is important, our video is not working on this system, but it will be working after the services. We have taken, there's a house down here at the end of this driveway where we would like you all to come over and share something to drink and eat and visit with each other right after these services. So that will take a lump out of our time by not having that. So without more ado, I would like to tell you that when I was a much younger woman, I made friends with a lady at the telephone company whose name was Betty Arbuthnot. And through her, I had become great friends with her husband, Oliver, and everyone else that comes with her. And you can't be around them without being part of them. This is the part that is keeping me together, and that is that my love of God and my belief in Him. So Oliver, would you come up here? He wanted to share some words with you. And then, right here, please help me welcome Mr. Oliver Arbuthnot. I was having one of those moments night before last, and I felt much better after Oliver came up and shared with us, and that's what I wanted him to remind you, that there is something out of all of this. And if I didn't believe that my daughter was with the Lord, I would not be able to stand here and say what I'm saying. So please listen to him, and then we will move on. Thank you, Oliver. Okay.
Good afternoon. I want us, first of all, The program says, in loving memories. In loving memories. My Bible tells me that in times like these, we need a companion, a savior. Amen. Someone to strengthen us, to encourage us, and to help us. But the Bible says, yes, we shall have moments of weakness, weeping. But the Bible says, weeping man, woman, boy, girl, endure for a night. For joy come in the morning. And as you think of back over her life and says, all of the beautiful and loving time that you have had together, knowing she would not want us to weep, as Cherie has said, she would not want us crying, but she wants us to look up and know, Psalm 46 says, God is. You must believe this. He is our refuge. He's our strength. And a very present help in times such as these. He's there. You know why? Because he says, I never, ever leave you. He said, lo, I am with you always. It is good. See, we cannot be with each other always. But God has fixed it so that he will come in, strengthen us, enable us to have that faith and to be thankful for the times that we have shared together, for the fun time, for the sad time, the joyous moments, and they were there. And as we look back over them, let us lift our hearts and burdens and think on them and say, not my will, but let God's will be done. The time had come. She had paid her dues. Her limited time was up. She had to go. She had other places to go. But we, her mother had said that she was a lover and she loved the Lord. If we love the Lord as she loved the Lord, we again are going to come together. Let not your hearts be troubled. Continue to have that faith and continue to believe that where she is, God is with her. And where we are, God is with us. Hold on. Press. Sometimes we do have to press. Sometimes we don't understand. Why? There are many questions. But let us remember, she said, in memories, think about the joy, the happy moment. Rest. She is resting in peace. She wants us to rest in peace. May the Lord bless you. May he strengthen you. May he encourage you, even as you go from this place, to know it's not over yet. One day, we shall come together again. Be encouraged. Look for that day. Smile, smile, smile. A smile changes everything. Smile and be happy. Remember the good days. God bless you.
And the first day I met Jocelyn, she accepted me into their family and called me brother. But I would like to say, Jocelyn, thank you for being my sister. Jocelyn Ells-Amirault, 46, collapsed and died at her home in Menifee, California. Family and friends cannot believe the tragic and totally unexpected news of her passing. Jocelyn wore many hats in her too short of life. She was a beloved daughter to her parents, Keith A. Ells and Cherie Farmer Ells. She was a loving sister to her siblings, Gregory Ells, Brian Ells, Glenn Cashman, and sisters Allison Ells Cushing, Debbie Cashman Faust, and Dawn Cashman Walls. She was a favorite auntie to loads of nephews and nieces and a popular cousin. She loved her family fiercely, as well as her friends, many of which she had known since grade school. Her personality drew people to her. She was funny, caring, loyal, and sensitive, and could always make a friend. Jocelyn was born in Pottstown, Pennsylvania on May 5th, 1971. In the same year, she would move with her family to her new home in San Diego. She graduated from Mira Mesa High School in 1989 and started taking college courses and working at those jobs that people never want to do again as long as they live. She met and wed her husband, Travis Amirault, in 1998. They moved from San Diego to Menifee in 2004. Their marriage would give Jocelyn her greatest title, that of becoming a mother. Their first child was a girl, Kaylin Shea, who's now 18. Two rowdy boys would complete the family with the births of Aiden Thor, who's now 15, and Grayson Ryder, who's now 13. As a mother, Jocelyn was loving and supportive. Her only daughter, Kaylin, enjoyed portraying every Disney princess as the boys just had to be superheroes. When her kids grew into their teenage years, the superheroes became athletes and the princess became a young lady. Jocelyn adored her kids with her whole mother's heart. She was without a doubt their strongest champion and cheerleader. She made sure to teach her children the importance of being part of a big, loving family. Jocelyn worked as a telemetrist at the hospital in Hemet, California. She enjoyed working in the medical field and first thought to become a nurse. She soon learned that nursing was not for her. In 2016, with 2 associate's degrees under her belt, Jocelyn applied at St. Catherine's University. Her goal was to become an occupational therapist. With only 1 more semester to go before graduation, Jocelyn was beginning to see the light at the end of the tunnel. At the time of her passing, she was exhausted, but happy to be making great strides toward her goal. Our entire family will always be proud of our scholar. Her children are left with another valuable lesson from their mother. She wanted them to work hard and never give up their dreams. Though they will not see her, she will always be on the sidelines of their lives, forever their greatest champion and cheerleader.
I stand before you heavy-hearted at the loss of my baby sister, Jocelyn Leslie Frances Ells-Amirault, aka Ducky. We're not really sure where or how the name Ducky came along, but we were always told it was because she waddled when she walked. As a baby. As siblings, we often use that as a form of torture. Ducky, 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 as mean children would be. However, she did allow a few to call her that. as they said it with love and admiration. Jocelyn, being the baby in the group, we learned how to manipulate that to our advantage. You see, there was a potato salad story. In which our loving sister Allison decided she wanted to not eat potato salad anymore. While no one was looking, she scooped her potato salad into the fireplace. Well, you may not know this, but our mother was Sherlock Holmes, the great detective, and always knew when something was not right. My mother located the mysterious glob in the fireplace and scooped it onto a plate and called us into the room. Who did not eat their potato salad? Silence across all of our faces, as us, the one that did eat their salad, had no idea what our mother was referring to. She asked again, who dumped the potato salad into the fireplace? Still no answers. Well, we were sent to our room, the four of us kids, to discuss who was at fault. Because someone was going to get it. Not naming anyone. Someone had to persuade Jocelyn into taking the blame. You see, it was the safest option, right? Because, heck, who was going to beat the baby? You know. This loyalty carried over in our family, as family means everything to us. And to our sister. It's important for everyone to know that the only people you can truly trust is your family. Through marriage, friendships, and other means, our family unit had grown. Sisters, cousins, brother-in-laws, sister-in-laws, exes, etc. Jocelyn's friends had become our friends, and ours hers. If you look around this room, all you will see is what our family has become. All of you are loved by her and by us. Jocelyn had 3 children from marriage, Kaylin, Aiden, and baby Grayson. She loved the heck out of those kids, and they are all her world. Each one carries a part of her that I can see. Kaylin, her voice of strength and wonder. Aiden, the sense of adventure and passion. And Grayson, his mom's affection and loyalty. My sister was one of my biggest cheerleaders. She always thought the best of me and thought I could do no wrong. Little did she know, or opted of knowing. She would size up my girlfriends to see if they were worthy of dating her brother. Sorry for you if you didn't make the grade. Jocelyn was in the process of reinventing her life. She had gone back to school to become a CODA, also known as a certified occupational therapist. This was no easy task, as who wants to go back to school in the 40s, let alone have to get good grades? She was putting in the hours, getting the A's and B's needed to progress her to her goal. I was blessed to see the excitement firsthand as she was nearly completion and she could see the light at the end of the tunnel. She was happy. I have no doubt that she would have been one of the greats in this position, giving, loving, teaching. In the end, I will remember my sister for the things she did accomplish being a daughter, sister, mother, aunt, student, mentor, and friend. All of these she did perfect. She is loved and missed terribly.
I want to thank you all for coming. It's really amazing to look around this room and I see so many faces that I know and faces that I don't know. But I want to know all of you because you all in some way touched my sister's life. And I can't thank you enough for bringing joy to her life while she was here. I don't have anything prepared. I tried many times, but I couldn't Nothing sounded right. And so she knows how I felt about her. In the end, I guess that's all that really matters. I was her big sister, and from the time we were little, I was her protector. It was a role that was sometimes hard, always rewarding. She was my best friend. There's no one in this world, no one that knows me like my sister did. We could talk about anything, sometimes just sentences, sometimes hours of conversation. All of it, I wish I could just relive one conversation with her. Just one more moment to tell her how important she was and how much I loved her. We recently moved to Virginia. My husband's job is there. My sister gave me a book when I left called To My Sister. And it's a book of poems about sisters. I just wanted to read to you what was on the inside of the cover. She told me not to open it until I got on the plane. So as I had all of my children safely seatbelted in, I opened it up to read it. As I look through this book, I think every passage says how I feel about you and about us. Though our hearts are broken, you are leaving. I am so excited for our journeys ahead. Never apart, I will think of you daily and miss our adventures through life with our kids. I am looking so forward to many, many more. I will love you and be with you all the days of my life. You are truly my soulmate forever. Always and forever. Love you, big sissy, Jocelyn. Though I was her big sister, in truth, Jocelyn was the one I looked up to. She was the one who encouraged me when I was feeling like a inadequate mother and wife. She was the wind beneath my wings. I like to think that I was hers. Her greatest role was her being a mother to her children, Kaylin and Aiden and Grayson. I love you very much. You need to know that Auntie will always be here for you. I will lecture you and love you just like your mother did. And if you ever need guidance or a hug or a face that looks like your mom's, I'm here for you. I'll relish being somewhat of a second mother to you, if you let me. Thank you.
Holy crap. Something down. Can't freestyle it like my sister. Otherwise we'll get nowhere quick. You hear this okay back there? Before I wrote some words down for a eulogy speech, I researched first some techniques of how not to get emotional when reading a eulogy speech, and they had a few tips. One of them was take a deep breath. All right. Remember to keep doing that too. All right. The other one was take a drink, because apparently your throat you get a lump in your throat. It's not easy to speak with a lump in your throat. So bring some magic juice too that doesn't hurt. And apparently the most potent technique was to write down some math equations on your paperwork here, because I guess the brain can't easily process math equations and emotion. All right, makes sense, huh? So if I pause over long, it's because I got a few I'm doing some long division here. And then one last thing I made up myself. I've asked about a dozen or so people here to flip me off as I'm scanning the room. Where are you? Anybody? Thank you. Thank you. That works. It's distracting. So hello, family and friends. Wow, look at this room. There's a lot of love assembled here. Through my eyes, I see decades worth of friendly and familiar faces. Between the family, extended family, close friends, coworkers, and acquaintances here, we have accumulated many lifetimes of happy and memorable experiences together. Some of you we still see often, and some others, because of the way life is, it's been many years since we've seen you. Regardless of when or how long, doesn't matter. I wanted to thank you on behalf of the family for coming today. Paying your respects to the memory of our loving family member and friend, Jocelyn. She would have been humbled by this gathering of her very dearest friends and family on her behalf. Anyone that knew my sister well could tell you that she never saw herself as someone that was very popular. So the fact that so many are here to pay their respects to her memory speaks to what kind of person she was during her lifetime. Are you hearing this, Jocelyn? This celebration of life, it's all about you. Many here have already spoken or will speak about what kind of person that Jocelyn was. Like all of us, she too had many roles to play in her life. She was a younger sister and friend to me and my siblings. She was a daughter to our mother and father. She was an auntie to her nieces and nephews. She was a good friend to many of you, and of course, to her 3 children. She was a loving mother. No matter which roles that you identify her with, the one attribute of hers that stands out above all else for me, and that is consistently entrenched in each of the roles that she played, is loyalty. If the zombie apocalypse started tomorrow, she's the first person that I would hand my extra machine gun to, and Bowie knife. This woman was all in if she accepted you. Accepted you into her circle of trust. She'd be the first one to stake a zombie in the forehead too. We all know she loved The Walking Dead, so pardon the analogy. One of my childhood friends, Philip Walker, recently shared a story with me that sums up 2 consistent halves of her character. Philip shared a story with me about how many years ago, when we were still teenagers, found himself in a troubling situation. It was 3 o'clock in the morning. His car had broken down in a bad part of town in the middle of a heavy rainstorm. He was down to the last 2 quarters in his pocket and decided that he was going to call me to come save him. Imagine that, was his last choice. Wow. For all the people that are below the age of 25, this is before we had smartphones lying under our pillows. This meant that Philip had to, 1, find a payphone, hope that it was working. And you may also remember, didn't we have to worry about earwax being on the hand receiver too? Check. 2, he had to remember the phone number that he was going to call. These days we just look for the name, right? But back then we could somehow remember 100 phone numbers or more. Remember that? I don't know how we did it. And 3, he had to call my home at 3 o'clock in the morning, which back in 1987 meant that the entire family household was woken up to the sound of this shrill ringing. I brought a sound bite of what that sounds like, but I kept playing it and it wouldn't turn off. It was just, right, I was afraid it was going to go on and on and on while I tried to finish this. But most of you will remember, it was really annoying. So, anyway, that's what he did. He called at 3 o'clock in the morning on his last hope. He said that Jocelyn was the person that picked up the phone. And she said, "Who the flock is this?" You know she didn't say flock. He said he was taken aback momentarily by the forcefulness of her tone. But he responded with, "Jocelyn, it's me, Philip Walker." He went on to describe his predicament. And then he said that as soon as she knew it was him that was calling, a close friend of her brother's, she immediately became a sweetheart and went into protective mode. He said it was like night and day. She went from flock to knocking on my bedroom door and making sure that I was out the front door to save my buddy Philip. Whenever I think of that story, I see my sister's entire life much in the same manner. She could be quick to temper if she thought someone or something was detrimental to her family, but always ready to give you the shoes off her own feet if you were part of her family. But she very much considered her close friends to be as well. And you know who I'm talking about: Maureen, Tricia, Emily, Sandy, Amy, and obviously many others that I missed over the years. I have to say, she sure could pick friends. We've loved all of her friends. I've known them to be authentic people of quality, and each one of them was just as loyal as she was. She sure could sniff out the fakes, huh? So loyalty crosses over into family, which family was easily the most important thing in my sister's life. It was everything to her. They say we are all teachers for one another experientially, in some way or form, whether it be positive or negative. She was a teacher for me. This may be hard for some of you to believe, but there was a time in my younger life when I was a little more selfish with my time. I didn't always put family first. She taught me the importance of family. I'll always remember her for continually showing me the value of family by her example with me and my siblings, as well as with her own children. Thank you for that, Jocelyn. You were 100% right. One other thing I'd like to share about Jocelyn that even some close to her may not know: she was a hopeless romantic. She loved the idea of being in love with one person, being loyal to that one person, having children with that one person, and living forever in happiness with that one person. And then there was me, Brother Brian. Where do I fit into this? Well, no matter what year we're talking about, and who I might have been dating at the time, she would always dig into my personal relationships and inquire about who I was involved with. Inevitably, she'd want to know where it was going and if I was planning on having any more kids and marriage and love and happiness for the rest of my days. She'd tell me she was worried about me and that she would just wanted to see me happy. She would say, "Brian, I can totally see you with more children, a new wife, and a happy life. You deserve that." Of course, I would respond defensively and say something like, "Who says I'm not happy? I'm Mr. Happy." And she would look at me like she was thinking, "Yeah, right, bro. You and that Siamese cat of yours really look happy." She never gave up on me, and I have a feeling that I'm going to be getting visits from her spirit self once I turn things around here pretty quickly. Maybe like Obi-Wan Kenobi was visiting Luke Skywalker, and there's that use the Force Luke thing. My sister always told me that her greatest achievement on earth was being a mother to her children. In the 46 years that we had together, I've never seen her more happy than when she was talking about her spending time with her 3 children. I don't need to tell you that she would have done anything for them. If my sister had one flaw that I wish I could have helped her to see earlier in life, it would be her sense of self-worth or self-love. She, to me, never seemed to understand her gifts to this world or to put herself first. Even at the expense of her health. It was always everyone else before her, and she was very private when she was struggling. She never shared with me any hardship she was facing. I'm amazed and awed by that, because if the roles were reversed, I would have had my list out with all the things that I needed, starting with a manscaping kit, some hair dye. However, about 2 years ago, something woke up inside of her. Perhaps it was her higher self speaking loudly to her, telling her she could do anything that she put her mind to. So she decided on her own that she wanted to become an OTA, occupational therapist assistant. For those of you that aren't aware of what this is, where an occupational therapist evaluates, develops treatment plans for patients. The OTA puts those plans into action, basically teaching individuals how to overcome the challenges performing daily activities because of an injury, illness, or disability. No surprise that she chose a profession that involves helping people, is it? She committed herself to this rigorous 77-week program full-time. It involved her making every possible sacrifice of her personal time to do so. I remember trying to pull her away from her studies to get together for one thing or another. Each time she would share with me that she couldn't do it. She was committed to her schooling and the limited schedule that she had laid out for herself, on top of working graveyard at the hospital and raising 3 kids. She was doing it, and she was starting to enjoy it despite the pressure, because she was finally getting it, and that made her happy. I never told her that I was proud of her so much as I did in that last 12 months. All of us were proud of her. It was a beautiful thing to see my sister finally glowing with a sense of pride for something that was all her own creation. She had big plans for her financial future. And those plans involved completely reinvesting into her kids and their futures. Not one thing for herself. Until her body gave out on her. I bring this up in my conclusion, so I want her children to know that even though their mother didn't get to finish her own story quite the way she had scripted it, she died with a sense of accomplishment and personal pride. She was succeeding because she finally believed in herself. turn that belief into action. So Kaylin, Kate, and Grayson, your mom's story, her legacy lives on with you. She gave you the blueprint for how to succeed, how to make something of your lives, and complete the last part of your story for her. Final gift to you is to believe in yourselves now. Don't wait until you're over 40 to begin working on your dreams and goals. Believe that you are worthy of achieving anything that you set your mind to, and you will become somebody that you'll be proud of. Don't do it, and you too might be getting visits from her spirit self, slapping you upside the head along with your uncle. Love you, I'll miss you, sister, but I will see you in the next life.
Cherie forgot to put Miracle Grow on me and my sister Dawn. We're a little shorter. Dearest Jocelyn, I don't know why God called you home, but I do know that my heart is broken in a million pieces, and the pain I feel slices my soul like a knife. The day you left us, a piece of me went with you. I can't imagine never seeing your face or hearing your voice again. Our family and our lives will never be the same without you. I will cherish all the memories we share and then hold them close to my heart where they belong. I will think of you every day, and I will see your beautiful face every time I see your 3 amazing children. I find comfort in knowing that you are with Glenn and other loved ones, and that I will see you again one day. Until then, spread your wings and fly, little sister. I love you to heaven and back.
Jocelyn, I could write a book from the memories we shared. We laughed, we cried, the good times, the bad. To have you as a sister was always a pleasure. Your love I will always treasure. You are part of all of us in your own special way. Too soon to say goodbye. I wish you could stay. We know you wouldn't like some of the pictures we've been sharing. They are just moments in time. You've touched us with caring. Your spirit I will carry forever in my heart in a special place. I'll miss your smile. I will miss your face. I have comfort in knowing you are a part of my space. Your spirit of loving, I know it's true. So with that I say, Jocelyn, I love you. My husband wrote that for me. My brain has been going a million miles an hour with every single thing, family, beach outing, picnics, big ice block sliding down Poway Lake that we used to do. And every time I tried to write something, it was just chaotic. It was a chaotic mess. So my husband wrote that for me and asked me if it was okay. And it was. Then I realized I did write something. Trish and Amy were having a really hard time last night and texting me. Anybody that knows me knows that I became an alcoholic after losing our brother Glenn. And I have over 9 years sober now. So crazy enough, last night, I was the one calming everybody down. And here's what I wrote to Amy. We have a long way to go to learn how to deal with the loss of Jocelyn. It is brutal. The feelings and emotions are unbearable right now. I think helping her kids cope will be therapy for all of us. We need to grieve in the most healthy way we can. Those 3 beautiful children of hers are going to need each and every one of us. As hard as it is for us, it's much worse for them. Jocelyn will want us to rally around her babies. I realize it's easier said than done, but together we will get through the pain and emptiness in our hearts. Jocelyn has been a warrior for her family and friends, and we have to keep her wishes. Thank you.
Hi. I am very astounded at how many people are sitting in this room right now. I am so touched that all of you felt some way about my mother to be here as I have felt to be here. It's very hard for me to come up here and talk as I didn't write anything. Every time I tried, I couldn't find the right thing to say. I'm very, very heartbroken at the loss of my mother, as my brothers are. I know, I feel like I should also get a certificate at being an OTA. The things that I helped her with, her schooling, I was always the first one that she asked to help. And the passion that I saw in her eyes and the ambition that she had made me so proud of her, so proud of her. And she was almost there. And I just feel like even though she didn't make it to the end, she accomplished everything she needed to accomplish in her time that she was here. I am so very, very proud of her. And I feel such an honor to be called her daughter. She was the best mother that I could have ever asked for. It's just so hard for me to stand up here. I am just very, very thankful for everybody in this room, and I really appreciate all of you coming. I haven't seen a lot of you in a long time, and I'm sure that she would be very, very happy to see all of you in this room right now. And I just want to say thank you for coming, and thank you for being here. You want to say?
I just wanted to say thank you for everybody who else came, and I just wanted to say that my mom was a hardworking person, and it's hard for me to come up here and talk because that was my mom and my best friend, and nobody will ever replace her in this world. She always made sure that me, Aiden, and Kaylin had the best, had everything that we wanted, and she made sure that we had food on the dinner table, a roof over our house. She wanted to go to school to get a better job and get more money to help support me, Aiden, and Kaylin. If I saw her right now, I would tell her how much she means to me. She always told me how I was smart and how good looking I was. And she always supported me, and she was overprotective. She made sure that I wasn't, talking to people that I wasn't supposed to be talking to, hanging out with people I wasn't supposed to be hanging out with. Like every time I would play, I'd be playing Xbox with my friends, she would always ask me who I was talking to, and I would tell her that it was my friends, and she would always say, "Is it your friend or is it a 50-year-old man?" So I just wanted to say that I was really proud of her, and I miss every day coming home from school and going straight to my mom's room and giving her a hug and a kiss. She always supported me when I played sports. She took me to my practices, and every time she came to one of my games, I made sure that I dropped at least 20 points for her. I made sure that I put on a show for her because it just meant a lot to her to see her two boys, me and Aiden, play sports. She'd always come to my football games and my basketball games. She'd always take me to practice. She would always I would always try to take her away from her work because every single day she would take a shower, she would get dressed, she would come outside, well, not come outside, but come out of her room, and she would go straight to the computer all night. And I tried to make her get off her computer sometimes, just to go. I would always ask her, I would always say, "What do you say a mom and a son go out and eat?" And she'd always say, "I can't because I have to do this final." And I just wanted to say that I was really proud of her because of what she's done, what she's accomplished. And I love her. Thank you.
I just also wanted to elaborate on what he said. I am also very, very proud of her. We all are very, very proud of her. To be able to see the things that she did and the videos she did and the schoolwork she did and the clinicals and everything that she did, to be able to be her daughter and to be able to help her the way that I did and to be able to see the things that she's accomplished. I was so very, very, very proud of her. We all were, Aiden, Grayson, and I. We love her very, very much. And nothing will ever replace my mother. Nobody will ever come to be close to what she was to all of us. And I just wanted to let everybody know here that she really, really put her all into everything. And she would not want anybody up here crying about her and being sad about her passing. It just breaks my heart. I just want her to know that when I eventually pass away, I want her face to be the first that I see when I get there. Thank you.
For all the people that don't know who I am, I'm Ells-Amirault's boyfriend, and I wrote a few things down on my phone. Jocelyn was a great mother and a great person. She did everything in her power to make those kids happy and everyone around her. She put everyone before her. I remember me and Kaylin staying up until 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning recording videos for her project and helping her with her computer because her computer would turn off the internet, so we would have to stay up all day to try to figure that out so she could finish a project or a final. She would always tell me and Kaylin how grateful she was for us taking care of the boys so she can do her schoolwork because school took a lot of time, and I'm so grateful I got the opportunity to grow with Jocelyn and share the great moments and show her I will always be there for her daughter and sons. I'm so thankful I'm a part of this family. I love you, Jocelyn, and I'll miss you deeply.
Hi, everyone. I am an old neighbor of Jocelyn's. I don't remember who moved in first, she or I, but we had teenage kids. We did, me and my ex, and she had the the little kids, and we would always share stories about motherhood and wifehood and cooking, and not wanting to immediately put a post, because I had said to Jocelyn, it could have been 6 months to a year ago, girl, we have to get together. Yes, we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it. When I saw that, I was like, that's it. I'm putting everybody who I need to see on my calendar. That was my next post. So I want to share, do not forget. Of course, times like these make us do that, but let's do it. Do not forget to touch the people who have touched your life. I didn't get to do that with Jocelyn, and I'm really, really sorry and sad that I didn't, because we became really close when we were neighbors, and I moved away. I live in Los Angeles now, but I wish that I would have taken the time to just come out and spend time with her, because now I don't have that chance. So we love Jocelyn. She was a rare jewel. She was very accepting and loving of everyone, like her brother said. And she loved me, and she accepted me, and we shared lots of stories. When I heard everything that everyone had to say, a song came to my heart, if you don't mind me sharing just a little, that reminded me of Jocelyn. And it was this little song. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, and with thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary, Lord, for you. And that's what I heard, was that what everyone had to say.
I met Jocelyn in the 8th grade. That was a really hard year for me, as all of my friends had moved on to high school. I showed up that first week not knowing anyone, with the exception of my brother and his friends. I remember seeing this really tall girl walking around at lunch. A few days later, we met in a class that I was quickly transferred out of. Some people would call that a chance meeting. I like to think of it as destiny, that she was meant to be in my life. I was so happy that I had made a friend that day. Little did I know she would become my best friend, my friend for more than 33 years. I have so many memories that include Jocelyn in them. Crazy things we did together, New Year's celebrations we shared, dancing at clubs with friends, all the different parties we would go to, girl time with our close circle of friends, laughing and talking for hours, our many conversations about boys and eventually husbands, kids, and everything in between. I will cherish those memories and hold them close to my heart. Most of you who know me know that Jocelyn was responsible for introducing me to my husband. Her and her boyfriend, Sean, at the time, had a small get-together at his house and invited both of us. I remember Jocelyn telling me on the way there that he was a really nice guy and to give him a chance. 31 years later, we are happily married with 2 kids. I'm so thankful that I listened to her that night. Jocelyn was one of those people that was always smiling and looking to have a good time. She had a laugh that was infectious. I will miss that smile and hearing her laugh. Jocelyn cared deeply for people, especially her family and friends. Family was everything to her. Her kids were her life. Kaylin, Aiden, and Grayson, your mom loved all of you more than words could ever express. You 3 were her reason for living. and the reason she worked so hard to make a better life for all of you. Jocelyn was like the sister I never had, and I'm not ready to say goodbye. Instead, I will say I'll see you soon, and I love you, and I miss you terribly.
Okay, so, this family has had its share of services more than we need to, right? And Greg, you've always been the strong one. So we stand up here today to try to help out because this one is a hard one. I don't know how good we'll do.
It's not looking good.
Jocelyn, as like Sandy and a lot of us here, I met her 33 years ago in 8th grade with her white pancake makeup and her dark black eyes. As I sat there with probably some plaid pants on and a polo shirt, and she was punk rock before I even knew what punk rock was. I want to talk to you about Jocelyn as a friend, but not just a friend to me, because we all have so many stories, and if I try to tell some, I'm not going to make it up here. So I just want to basically tell you that how she felt about her friends. Jocelyn was about endless summers listening to music and laughing with friends, barbecues. Everything outdoors. She loved her gatherings. In high school, we were all about going to clubs. We were all about going to Soma and the Casbah and a lot of TJ trips. And I remember it didn't matter what we were getting ready to go do. All of us waited forever for Jocelyn. She was the last one to get ready. It was like she didn't care. We all waited for her.
We never left before 10.
We never left before 10. Midnight. But we all waited because she was worth the wait. I remember when she would finally get ready and we can finally leave to go start our good time. The only one that took longer was Brian.
That's why she'd have been ready sooner if she could have gotten the bathroom.
Brian, we'd walk by his bedroom and he'd still be in front of that mirror, still doing his hair.
4 girls trying to get in the bathroom, waiting.
So, anyway, Jocelyn loved to spend as much time with her friends as she could. Excuse me.
Mic drop.
It was a known fact that when she called you on the phone, you knew that you can just forget anything else you're doing for the day, because we would sit there for hours, hours and hours. And she had a certain cycle she would always do, and that was the reason she called, and then the hours of reminiscing, going over and reliving old stories about old friends over and over and over again. I've heard these stories a million times, but I listened to every single time she wanted to reminisce. Jocelyn, we've been through it all together. We've been through good boyfriends and bad boyfriends, husbands and exes. And through boyfriends and exes or husbands they all knew that to be in a relationship with us was to be in a relationship with Jocelyn. At any given moment, Jocelyn would knock on your door or give you a call on the phone. We could be in bed sleeping, and she would say, "Hey, meet me out front. I need to talk." And then looks from, you know, the boyfriends and exes and whoever would be like, there she goes again. So we'd sit there in her car for hours talking. It could take hours, or it could lead to days, who knows? Jocelyn was a reminiscer. Every conversation or any time that we spent together always ended down a walk down memory lane. Jocelyn was my road trip girl. She was my sidekick. We've had more road trips together, and we never cared where we were going. We just took off.
Half the time we didn't get there anyway.
We didn't know where we were going. We didn't know how we were getting back. Kaylin, Shay, don't do this. It's not safe, okay? But every drive and every road trip we took, we would laugh. Life didn't always hand her roses, but at the end of the day, she would always find some kind of twisted humor in whatever she was going through, and she would laugh. She would never leave the end of the day without laughing. However messed up things got, no matter what she was going through, she, in her sick humor, she would find a way to laugh. So she would want us here today laughing with our sick humor. The last time I was with Jocelyn was for Maureen's birthday surprise, just at the end of September. We spent all night long laughing so much that Maureen, your dad Blaine, he locked himself in the bedroom. He just knew, just all come out when it's all over. But on the way back from Maureen's birthday party, back to Jocelyn's house, she asked one more thing of me. She asked me to take her through the old neighborhood. And we drove through the streets. And Jocelyn, man, her memory was strong. We would pass by houses, and she can tell you who lived there and would tell you a story about them. Teresa, we were by your house. Oh, the girls and I made a pact that night that the times we get together are way too few in between. So we made a pact that we were going to get together 4 times a year as the seasons changed. I plan on keeping that pact. And to Kaylin Shay, if you ever need to get away and have a road trip and reminisce, I know some great girls here that'll take you, okay? With this Thanksgiving, it was a hard one, and I kind of called off my plans. But the more I thought about it, I thought to myself, I have been absolutely blessed to have had 33 years of memories with her. And of all the times we've relived every countless time together, I feel like we've lived those years 100 times over. You guys are my family, and I love you all so much.
I couldn't love her anymore. She was my friend, and I know she loved me.
because she let us know. She had a big heart. She had a rough exterior sometimes. You know, she always had her backs, and she was fiercely loyal and protective. And anybody who's here got to see her softer side, I'm sure. And how lovely she was. Family is everything to Jocelyn. And we were family. This is surreal. I'm not supposed to be here saying goodbye to Jocelyn. We were supposed to outlive all our husbands and be the Golden Girls. She loved that. And she would call and say, I'm watching the Golden Girls. That's going to be us. And I know we all miss Jocelyn terribly, but what gives me comfort is that as much as she loved us, if she could be here now, she would. Because she is in paradise. She's in a better place, and we will see her again. Until then, I mean, these tears are selfish, you know, they're not for Jocelyn. They're for me, because I'm missing her. And I miss that laugh of hers. And I just can't believe I'm going to hear that laugh again. So, her tears are for the children of your life. She loved you so much. You were her whole world, and just know that we are here for you. We love you so much. And we're here for you anything that you need. I miss you. I love you. Follow Brian for you to take some deep breaths. The last conversation I had with Jocelyn before she had passed, and we got disconnected. But we were talking about Kaylin and Aiden and Grace, as we always did. She said for me to make her a promise. I don't know why she would always do this to me. But she said, you take care of my babies. You take care of my babies. And she somehow knew that this, I don't know, she knew. Because why would she tell me to take care of her babies? And so today I stand in front of you. My name is Maureen. I've known Jocelyn since the 6th grade. We met on the soccer field. She wasn't too into soccer. I was, and I was like, come on, you know, kick the ball. But Jocelyn's last words to me were in a card, but I believe they apply to her. And if you were lucky like me, you've heard these heartfelt words before. Jocelyn wrote on my birthday, "You're the highlight of my life, a true joy. Thank you for always loving me. You are my world, my light in the darkest of days. You and I and us forever. Just know you are my heart for always and forever. For now until eternity, Jocelyn is our hummingbird. She is quick like a hummingbird. She darts so eagerly, so swiftly, sweetly dipping into the flowers of our hearts, and that's how I'll remember her. And I will take care of her babies. So fly on, my sister. Thank you."
Hi, my name is Dustin Maverick Ells, and I am one of our many cousins. And Jocelyn was my auntie. She was the coolest person I knew. She was so cool, and she always greeted me with a big hug and always left me with a hug. She always told me how proud she was of me. She loved that I was an Ells and was excited to see what I would do with my life. I will miss her laugh and I will miss her jokes, but most of all, I will miss her hugs and love.
Ashley, and this is Brianna, and we are her nieces, the oldest, and Jael and Jordan. So we got to kind of grow up with her as she was growing up, and it was wild and fun. She was passionate, and it was sorry. She was amazing, and we didn't always get to spend a lot of time together, but the time we did get to spend, she would sit and talk for hours and hours with you, and those moments will forever stay with me. She helped me a lot being a single mom and going to school in the medical field as well as her. So we had a lot of those conversations. Anytime my daughter was sick, she was the first person I called. And if she couldn't help me, her friends were there 100%, like I was part of their family to help me. She meant a lot to me. It's too hard to believe that this is real when my mom told me. The first thing I said was, Caitlin. You were everything to her, and she was special. She was really special. And you can see it in the three of you, how special she was. Thank you for her, Grandma. I'm sorry.
As everyone is, like, especially her friends have already stated, she always ran extremely late, so let's hope that her spirit has made it here by now. But I was lucky enough, when I was younger, we lived with her and Kaylin when she was probably 2 or 3, and Aiden when he was a baby. Sorry, Grayson, you weren't around yet. But I learned so much from her, and especially to not ever eat her bagels with cream cheese and tomato. But she cared so much about everyone, and she would ask me about my friends, and she would know their names even though she never even met them, and that's how caring she really was. And we're all gonna miss her so much. Our family will never be the same, but know that her fun-loving spirit will live on, in every Cinco de Mayo we're gonna have a huge party for her. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Ramel. Moved to San Diego, it was about 1979, 1980. And the first kid I ever met when I moved to San Diego, Brian Ells, right there. We were about 10, 11 years old. And then that's when I met the entire Ells family and everything, and Jocelyn, of course. So she was about 8 or 9 years old. I'm the youngest of my siblings, so I've never had a younger sibling, and I always wanted to. So whenever the opportunity was like, oh, big brother? Oh, you already got 2. Okay, that's cool, whatever. So yeah, I always kind of considered her like a little sister to me. And so 38 years later, Brian, as soon as it happens, he texts me because we start, hang out and talk 38 years later. And I was still in shock, just like I am now, It's ultimately, I mean, I've had friends, who passed away, and it was a slow lingering, and then I've had friends passed away in car accidents, and it was just like this, and this is very similar to the car accident thing. And I mean, is one better, one worse? Having experienced both sides, I would prefer it to be quick, because lingering just, it's harsh. So I'm glad there was no suffering. She went quick like that, and it said God takes the good ones early, because you must really have something big to do somewhere else. So I imagine that, in 100 years when we're all dead and we see Jocelyn again, she's going to be like, yeah, he had something really big I had to do. just a few years ago. It was for Kaylin's 16th birthday, as a matter of fact. Brian told me, hey, she's having a 16th birthday. Come on down, see the family. It's been a long time. And everything. So it was cool. Afterwards, we were hanging out. I was like, I don't know anybody here. Nobody sucks. Jocelyn was like, I live in here. I was like, no, you don't. Because yeah, I do. So we hung out a couple of times, and it was totally cool. It was totally awesome. The friends that I met were like me, John, they were just so cool, super cool. For a little while, I was like, it's like I was almost surprised how cool they were. It's like, duh, but who you're meeting is going to be cool. You know? One last thing that I would like to say about Jocelyn. Dustin sounded, she was just cool, you know, she was cool. She was, I was gonna use the words kick-ass chick. She was a kick-ass chick. And I just want to say that Kaylin gave me Grayson, that I can't even imagine how difficult this is. And it will be difficult still. But just look at those times where it hurts so much, it hurts so deep. Just remember how strong she was, like I said, kid. And by the treasure properly of science, and everything for kids, you are kick-ass too. It's such a comfort in this heart. Know that her strength is
For those of you that don't know me, my name is Connor Cushing. I am the son of Allison Cushing. I know Aunt Jocelyn because she's my aunt. And I just want to say thank you all for coming out here to celebrate my aunt, because she's probably one of the coolest aunts I've really ever had. She was always like, how do I say this? She would she always make like, every time we would have a party at my mom's house when we lived out here, we would always have like a party that would like a huge party. It would last till from 4 to sometime 12 midnight, sometimes 1. And every time like the first few people to arrive would usually be my uncles, and then once my Aunt Jocelyn arrived, you could hear them laughing from all the way outside. They would just line up the party instantly. And that was one of the things that I really liked about her. She always could make anyone laugh, without really trying sometimes. And I really I'm really unable to comprehend the fact that this is all really happening. And I just want to say thank you all for coming out. Yeah.
This is my wife. Great woman, both of them. I got lucky enough to become part of this family 25 plus years ago. Can't believe it's been that long. But I look through this room and I see so many faces that I know. We were a lot younger. Many of us way younger, 25 years ago. And through the years, we've spent so many good times, whether it be at camping in the woods, out at one of the lakes, or going to the desert, or going to the beach, or having a party at Grandma's house, or having a party at our house, or having a party at Jocelyn's house. We were always getting together as a family. Whether you were blood or not, you were family. That's the way it was in the Ells family. They accept everyone. Who you are is who you are. We may have different politics or personalities or expectations in life, but we were all still family. And Jocelyn, I'll never forget one of the first times I ever met her. There were times periodically that we would get into little conflicts, me and my to-be wife, or at what time wife, I don't even remember. But I'll never forget, she would just fiercely defend her sister. Blood is thicker than water. Don't you ever forget it. She always kept me in line whenever I started having my little jarhead attitude. And, you know, right, wrong, indifferent, she gave you the sense that she was a loyal friend. And just by looking at all the people in this room, I wasn't surprised, not one bit, at how many people are here. I knew it was going to be standing room, I had no doubt. There are people here that were neighbors, not just, you know, family, friends, but just nothing more than our neighbors. And they're here. And that's what your mother meant to all of them. So, my sister will always be remembered, not just by Allison, her brothers and sisters, or my boys, but I have no doubt everyone in this room. Thank you.
When I got the call, I really wanted to do something for my family, and I didn't really know what to do. And right now, it kind of hit me. I want to say something that will honor Jocelyn, and I hope that that blesses you guys. Jocelyn was my step-aunt. She was my dad's stepsister. And then her mom and my grandpa were separated, but even years and years and years later, they were still family. Her and her siblings have always been my aunt, uncle, and to be honest, I don't have a whole lot of memories with Jocelyn. I really only ever saw her at family parties and family functions, but there was never a moment that Jocelyn didn't feel like my aunt, that she didn't feel like she was blood, that I never felt unloved by her. I actually felt so loved by Jocelyn, even though we would see each other maybe once or twice a year. And when I got the phone call that she was gone, it felt devastating. This woman that I don't really know a whole lot about her, but I felt so incredibly close to her. And I hated that she was gone, but I just think it's such a testament to you, Grandma Sherry, the woman that you raised, and how gifted she was at loving people and making her once upon a time step-niece that she didn't know that well feel so special and feel so loved. So she was an incredible person, and she's leaving that incredible legacy behind her. And I'm really thankful. I'm really thankful to be part of this family and to still know that you are my family as deep as if we really were blood. So thank you so much.
I just wanted to tell you guys something that I thought was really funny. I just remembered it. Every time I used to because I was on my middle school basketball team, we would always go to our games. I would see all my friends before my mom would drive me. Whenever she drove me, I would always point out one of my friends, and she would always tell me, she's like, "Oh, you look way better than that kid." And she would just always tell me that. And I just thought that was really funny, and I just wanted to share it with you guys. And yeah, that's it.
I've been sitting over there trying to come up with something to say. My name is Chrissy Benton. I'm sisters with Camley, our twin, over there. She knows what the R means because Ducky gave her the moniker. But I'm Annie Tina's daughter. And I feel like I should talk for my mother. One part of Jocelyn that no one's talked about is the kind of daughter that she was. And since my mom can't be here, I'm going to talk for her. Jocelyn learned how to love from someone that, by very definition, every day is love. And that's me and Aunt Sherry. Aunt Pretty. And that love flows through every person that's touched her life. And it was consistent in her children, in her friends, in her guests that came to the house, her neighbors, strangers. And I hear everybody talk about how late Jocelyn was. One thing that stuck with me is that Jocelyn was consistent. Whether being late or not, she was consistent. She was always there. And she was always laughing and always smiling. And again, consistency that she learned from her mother. And as a daughter, she was consistent and full of love, and passes that consistency on to her children, who will be good sons and a good daughter. And they in turn will pass that consistency on. There's a song that I have been listening to lately that tries to explain the circle of life. And it's not religious, although Annie Tina would be very upset that we did not read scripture today. But this song talks about life and how what is green turns to gold, like the leaves on a tree. And they fall silently on the ground, and they feed the ground so that in the spring, new life can grow. And it's consistent, like the seasons. And all of you here, your love will feed these children so that their life can be consistent too and carry on that legacy. So on behalf of my family, we miss you, Jocelyn, and we love you, and we will look forward to the spring.
Such wonderful tributes. I'm sure we can go on and tell wonderful stories. And I encourage you to, at the reception here immediately following the service, and the days and weeks and years to come, to keep her spirit alive. On behalf of Miller Jones, to her children, the family, our deepest condolences to you. The family has asked that we extend an invitation to everyone here immediately following the service. The reception house is on the other side of the parking lot, down the walkway to the left. They prepared a great meal, and enjoy and continue to share memories with them. This concludes our service. Thank you very much.